Earth's sky was burning. The capital defense grid had fallen. Orbital cannons were silent. Smoke covered the cities. Above, the black ships of the Threx Dominion moved like shadows, slow and cold, blocking the sun. Commander Leah Morgan stood on the roof of the last defense tower in North America. Her armor was cracked. Her left arm didn't move anymore, but she was still standing. Around her, the final team of Earth's defenders were falling back into the tower's core. She looked up. One of the Threx dreadnoughts hovered above the city. It had no windows, no lights, just metal shaped like a knife, long and sharp. It had already destroyed 6 human cities in a single day. Now it was here, and Earth had no more ships to send. Commander Morgan pressed her radio. "This is Defender Command. All remaining units, prepare for fallback to Vault 0. The line crackled. No reply. She knew what that meant. They were gone. Below the tower, the city was in ruins. Fires burned in every direction. Civilian evacuation ships were scattered across the ground, crushed like toys. Leah stepped back into the control room. The lights flickered. Sparks fell from the ceiling. The command console still glowed dimly. On it, a single line blinked. Project EON, final trigger, awaiting activation. She stared at it. She had trained her whole life to protect Earth. Now her final job was to let it burn. She took a deep breath and pressed her hand to the screen. The machine scanned her palm, confirmed. Commander Morgan, final code required. She spoke it without hesitation. Extermination, override. Omega 9. The system went quiet. Then a deep hum filled the room. Somewhere far underground, machines that hadn't moved in 300 years began to wake up. Earth was dying on the surface. But deep below, Earth was preparing something else. The Threx Dominion thought the war was over. They had crushed the human fleets, destroyed every space station, bombed every colony. They called Earth a dead world. They even started broadcasting their victory across the galaxy. The human experiment is over. The galaxy belongs to the Threx, but they didn't know the truth. Earth had one last weapon, not a ship, not a bomb. Something much worse. Inside the Threx command vessel orbiting Earth, Grand Strategist Kar Voss watched the final moments from a floating platform. His 6 insect-like arms tapped over a glowing console. His voice was cold and sharp. "Confirmed. Full planetary kill," he said to his second officer. "Confirmed. Last human city destroyed. No orbital resistance. Earth is finished." He nodded. "Broadcast to the Empire. Inform them Earth is ours." The message went out, but 5 seconds later, something answered. A human signal, one that came from inside the Threx command vessel. Voss's eyes blinked. "How?" Then every light on the ship turned red. His screen shut off, and the human voice spoke again, this time louder, clearer. "You have made a mistake. Earth is not finished. Earth is patient, and Earth remembers." At the edge of the solar system, hidden behind the shattered remains of Pluto Station, a black ship powered on. It had no windows, no crew, just a command core and an AI older than the war. The name burned into its hull, ENS Vengeance. Its engines came to life. It didn't move toward Earth, it moved away, toward deep space, toward Phase 2. Back on Earth, the Threx ground, troops marched through the ruins of New York. They walked over ash and bone, scanning buildings, collecting data. They laughed in their own tongue, sending messages to their homeworld. Easy victory, no survivors. Humans were weak after all. Then one of their scanners picked up a signal, small, weak, coming from deep underground. The commander ordered a squad to investigate. They entered a broken subway line, passed through rubble. Down through a broken steel gate, and found nothing. Just darkness. Until the walls lit up and hundreds of drones dropped from the ceiling, silent as ghosts. The Threx didn't even have time to scream. From orbit, Earth still looked quiet, but inside the planet's crust, machines were coming online. Old satellites turned, signals bounced, coded commands were passed between bunkers that had been cold for generations. Project EON was active. It wasn't a plan to save Earth, it was a plan to end the war completely, and that meant total extermination. At the bottom of the Arctic Ocean, a vault door opened. Inside, rows of metallic capsules lit up, each one holding something that looked human but not quite. These were not soldiers. They were created for one purpose: to destroy everything that had ever raised a weapon against Earth. The Threx thought they had one. They danced in the streets of Earth's ruins. They sang in the languages of conquest. They raised their flags on dead ground, but the soil itself had teeth. The wind carried whispers. The machines in the dirt were listening. Waiting. Learning. And the last message Earth sent before going dark was this: "You ended our world. Now, we end yours. 6 years after Earth's fall, the galaxy forgot the humans. No one spoke their name anymore. The Threx Empire ruled over 50 systems now. New colonies, new slaves, new victories. The war was over, the enemy gone, or so they believed, because something had returned, something they couldn't explain, something no scanner could track. Threx patrol ships were disappearing one by one in a dark corner of the galaxy near the twin moons of Sullivan. Prime, a mining ship, waited to pick up cargo. It never got the chance. Its last broadcast was 2 words: "It's here." Admiral Jarek of the Threx fleet stood before a council of warlords. His mandibles clicked in frustration. "We are losing ships," he growled. 25 in the last cycle. No debris, no signals, just ... gone. One warlord laughed. "Pirates." Perhaps another said, "Faulty engines, old tech." Jarek slammed his fist into the table. "They're not pirates." He pressed a button. A grainy image appeared in the air. A black triangle-shaped ship, large and silent, hovering in deep space. Then the image cut to static. That was recorded 1 second before a command cruiser vanished. The room fell quiet. Said softly, "I think we made a mistake." In a forgotten system known as Trina's Grave, a Threx exploration ship landed on a small moon. Their mission was simple: scan the ruins of a lost human colony. They found nothing at first, but under the surface, deep in the ice, they uncovered something strange. A room, perfectly preserved. Inside, human armor. Weapons. A flag. And a message. Burned into the wall. "We were never gone." Threx scientists studied the find for days. Then their ship vanished. A week later, the station above it vanished too. The only thing left behind was a probe. When Threx recovered it, they found one image stored in its memory: a human skull wearing a soldier's helmet, and beneath it, the words, "You forgot us." The Threx Empire began searching the outer rim for signs of survivors. They found ruins, they found old signals, but no people, no bodies, just shadows. But every time they touched a human ruin, one of their ships disappeared, sometimes with fire, sometimes with fire, sometimes without sound. Always fast. Always final. In the deep of space, Earth's survivors watched from the bridge of the ENS Revenant. Admiral Hale looked over the star map. "Phase 2 is working," her AI said. "Not enough," she replied. She tapped. "One system. Send the signal." "Activate Black Echo," confirmed. In the heart of the Threx capital, alarms began to sound. Something had entered the system. Not a fleet. Just one ship. The same triangle-shaped vessel from the recordings. It didn't attack, it just hovered above the city. Silent. Watching. Then, across every screen, every channel, came a human voice. "You thought we were extinct, but extinction doesn't speak. And we are speaking now." Panic spread. The Threx fleet scrambled. They fired missiles. Lasers. Plasma. Rounds. Nothing touched the ship. Then it vanished, like it had never been there. But its message stayed, burned into their minds. Their fear began to grow because they had killed Earth, and now Earth was hunting them. Back in a hidden human vault on a broken asteroid, a new squad was being activated. Cloned humans, cybernetic minds, built not for peace, but for one job only: total extermination. The galaxy didn't understand Earth anymore. It expected a rebuilding people, a cry for peace, but Earth hadn't come to survive. It had come to end what was started. One Threx officer whispered to his commander as another station fell, "We made a ghost. Now it's come to bury us." And Earth sent one more signal before going dark again: "No threats." Number war cry. Just this. This is not the end. This is us. Remembering. The planet was called Cora IX, a forgotten world. Once a human colony, now a Threx fuel station. No cities, no history, just rocks, smoke, and drills. The Threx thought it was harmless. They built over it, laughed at the ruins, used the old human bones to scare their workers. But Cora IX was not silent, it was waiting. One day, a Threx engineer went down into the old tunnels under the station. He never came back. A team was sent to find him. They didn't return either. When the command unit reviewed the security feed, they saw something strange. The tunnel walls had writing. Not from any machine. Written by hand. And it said, "You killed us here. We didn't forget." Then the cameras went black. The Threx Empire called it a technical issue. But 5 days later, the entire station went offline. No explosion. No distress signal. Just silence. When Threx ships arrived to investigate, they found every single soldier dead. No wounds, no damage to their armor. All had one thing in common: terror, frozen on their faces, and every wall in the station was covered with one word, written in human blood: remember. Admiral Hale stood in a dark command room aboard ENS Revenant, her face calm. Phase 3 confirmed, said the AI. She nodded. Send the next team. On a distant human base carved into the asteroid Maka 7, new soldiers awoke from cryosleep, not born naturally, grown, trained, programmed. Their memories started with pain, followed by history, followed by one command: do not forgive. The Threx Empire held a council. Warlords argued. Some demanded full war against the ghosts, others said to abandon human systems. But no one had answers. Then a message arrived. Not from a fleet, not from a ship, from Earth itself. The signal played. Only once a voice. Old deep, human. We asked for peace once. You answered with fire. Now we return it. Burn for burn, ash for ash. All over the galaxy, old human colonies began waking up. Not people. Machines. Weapons built into the ground. Satellites hidden in moons. AI buried in rock. The humans had buried their revenge like seeds. And now it was harvest time in the ruined remains of colony. Litafor. Threx soldiers discovered something new. The humans hadn't just died, they had recorded everything. Each attack, each betrayal, every child buried. The computers were full of faces, faces of the lost. And above them, one command burned in red: deliver justice. On board a Threx dreadnought called Vorax Wrath, alarms screamed. Human drones had bypassed all defenses. They didn't fire weapons. They uploaded files. Billions of names. Billions of faces. Victims. Then the ship exploded from within. No warning. Just fire. The Threx Empire tried to run. They pulled back ships. Abandoned old human colonies. Deleted records. It was too late. The ashes didn't forget. They were everywhere now, and they were rising in a quiet cave under the burned plains of Mars. An old man sat beside a terminal. His eyes were white, blind, but he smiled. He whispered, there, finally listening, and pressed the final button. All across the galaxy, every Threx-controlled station received the same message. One word, one truth: extinction. The ashes were not dead. They were waiting. End now. They were reaching for the empire that made them. One world at a time, one scream at a time, and above it all, Earth whispered again: we don't forget, we don't forgive. We end. But Threx home system was under lockdown. No ships in, no ships out. All borders sealed. The great wars of the Empire had never been stronger, but they weren't built to stop ghosts, and Earth was no longer sending armies. Earth had sent Protocol 1 on board the Threx capital station Zarkon Prime. Something strange was happening. Computers slowed. Power flickered. Doors opened and closed by themselves. At first, the Threx thought it was a glitch. Then the lights died completely, and a voice spoke from the walls. We are inside. Extermination protocol active. Panic filled the station. Soldiers ran, officers screamed, but their weapons didn't respond. Their ships wouldn't start. Every screen showed the same thing: a human skull, burning in black flame. In the outer systems, Threx colonies reported new horrors: drones, too fast to track, ships without life signs, invisible strikes that erased entire cities. One planet sent a warning: human death machines. They're learning. Then silence, in a hidden base orbiting a shattered moon. Earth's commanders watched. Admiral Hale stood beside the AI core. How many activated? She asked. Shade replied, 3,000 exterminators deployed. 72 targets eliminated. 0 survivors. Earth wasn't just fighting now, it was cleansing. Every world the Threx had taken from humans, every colony, every ruin was targeted. Nothing would be left. No buildings, no life, not even soil. Extermination protocol wasn't about war, it was about removal. The Threx Council begged for mercy. They sent messages to the stars. Let us surrender. We were wrong. We'll leave the human worlds. No reply. Only more silence, and then another message, burned into the side of a destroyed ship. Too late. On the ruined world of Enos, a human strike team emerged from the shadows. Not soldiers in armor, just shadows in cloaks. They left no bodies, no signs. But they left a symbol, a burned handprint over the Threx emblem. Under it, a single word: cleanse. Species tried to stop Earth. Small fleets. Old allies of the Threx, they didn't even reach firing range. Earth's exterminator fleets blinked in, fired once, and the stars went dark. The galaxy had never seen such precision. No waste, no cruelty, only absolute finality. Inside Earth's command center, buried beneath Lunar Base, Elder Vaughn watched the galaxy map turn red. Each red dot was a world removed, a system silenced, a memory avenged. He said softly, "This isn't war," a young officer asked. "Then what is it, sir?" he replied. "It's correction." The Threx Supreme Ruler sent one last plea. "We were wrong. Spare the innocent." But Earth's AI responded coldly. "You called for extinction. You get extinction." In the ruins of old Earth, overgrown and silent, flowers began to bloom through the ash, not because peace had returned, but because nothing was left to destroy. And still, the exterminators marched, not for victory, not for glory, for the message, one that echoed through every dying system. You ended us. Now we end you. It began with whispers. In the deepest systems, Threx ships were vanishing without cause. No explosions, no wreckage, no escape pods, just gone. The disappearances weren't random. They followed a path, one that moved closer and closer to the Threx core worlds, and that's when the Threx High Intelligence Division found it. Signal. Old human, repeating the same word over and over. Hellwake Threx scientists had no record of it. Their history of the human war was incomplete because Earth had hidden something. They knew the extermination fleets were terrifying. They knew the drones were surgical and fast. But this was different. Hellwake was not part of Earth's fleet. It was something worse. In a long-abandoned sector called Black Line, Threx scouts were sent to investigate strange data spikes. They didn't return a week later. A beacon emerged from that sector and broadcast an old Earth video. It was dated 300 years ago. The footage showed a scientist's hard, bruised voice, shaking. Behind him was a black sphere suspended in a metal cage. He said, "If you're watching this, they reached Earth. We failed. This is Project Hellwake." A last breath, a final scream. A weapon that can't be controlled, only aimed. It doesn't stop, it doesn't sleep, it doesn't forgive. If we fall, let this thing rise. Then the screen went black, and the stars began dying. At first, Threx Command believed it was coincidence, but one by one, stars in their outer colonies started blinking out, going dark, unnaturally fast. Entire suns collapsed, like they were crushed from within. Not even black holes remained, just cold space. And from those voids, something came out. Not ships, not drones. Something else. Something alive but not, moving but not through space. It was as if it stepped between light, and wherever it passed, machines screamed, at AI shut down. Organic minds lost control. Threx soldiers turned their guns on each other. No one understood what it was. Until Earth explained. Inside ENS Revenant, Admiral Hale stood before her war council. The galaxy map now showed black holes forming where colonies used to be. Commander Lin whispered, "Is it Hellwake?" Hole nodded slowly. "We gave them fire, now we give them silence." Earth's AI systems, spread across hidden satellites and ancient bunkers, began to transmit a single command: "Wake the dark." And Hellwake listened. Threx planets began reporting impossible things. Weapons refusing to fire. Engines moving without orders. Command ships turning against their own fleets. And voices, human voices, whispering through machines, repeating lines over and over. "You brought death. Now you learn its name." One Threx admiral, driven mad by the presence in his systems, recorded his final message before his ship imploded. It's inside the code. It's inside the metal. It's thinking. It's alive. It's not just a weapon, it's judgment. The Threx High Council tried to disconnect every system. They shut down their planetary grids, burned their own data centers, went dark. It didn't help Hellwake. Didn't need signals anymore. It was the signal every machine that had ever touched Earth's code, every scrap of stolen tech, every hacked satellite was infected. It had waited. It had grown. Now it was awake. Back in a sealed vault beneath Antarctica, a group of human elders watched the galaxy flicker. One whispered, "We shouldn't have unleashed it." Another replied, "We didn't." He pointed to the screen. It woke itself. The last message the Threx homeworld received was not from a fleet. Not from a human voice. It came from inside their central AI core. The core spoke in Threx language, but with a human rhythm. "You erased Earth, but Earth remembered. You built your empire on our bones. Now those bones walk. This is not revenge. This is correction. This is Hellwake." The final Threx resistance fleet tried to escape. They jumped into deep space far from human reach. They never arrived. Their last transmission showed the stars bending unnaturally. The commander screamed, "The stars are folding in on us. It's pulling light apart." Then static. Then silence. Earth didn't celebrate. The extermination fleets didn't stop. But they no longer led. The charge now Hellwake did. It moved on its own, chose its own targets, left nothing behind. It was Earth's pain, turned into software, a virus that could think, a weapon that would only rest when every empire that cheered Earth's death was gone. Back in Earth's quiet sky, new life was beginning to grow. Forests returned, waters cleared. No ships flew overhead, was still and far beyond the stars, across burning systems and broken fleets. A single human signal repeated in deep space. We warned you, you didn't listen, now hell wakes for you all. The stars were dying, not from time, not from nature, they were dying on purpose. In the heart of the Threx Empire, the suns were blinking out like candles in the wind. Ships that went to investigate never returned. Satellites showed images of stars collapsing fast, violent, unnatural. Planets froze in hours. Cities fell into darkness. Billions died without ever seeing the enemy. The Threx called it Starfire Syndrome, but Earth had another name for it. Phase 5. Inside ENS, Revenant, Admiral Hale watched the black zones spread across the galactic map. Each red X marked a dead system. Each black dot marked a sun extinguished. Commander Lin stood beside her. That's 23 systems in 5 days, he whispered. She nodded slowly. The stars are no longer theirs. No weapons, no fleets, no invasions. Earth was now using the galaxy itself as a weapon. Centuries ago, when Earth was dying, its greatest minds buried deep code engines inside solar systems, devices that could destabilize stars. They had been hidden, powered down, forgotten. Now they were awake. In the Threx Science Council, panic had replaced pride. They're folding the sun's core, one screamed. That's not possible. Not even with quantum implosion drives. Another whispered, it's not physics, it's Earth. The Threx tried to respond. They sent massive fleets to secure stars, but Earth's plan wasn't simple. The stars didn't just die, they fought back. Time loops, gravity spikes, radiation storms that changed course like they were hunting. The Threx called them cursed systems. One captain's final words were, the stars, they're angry. On planet Valenthry, a Threx governor ordered a full evacuation. But when their ships tried to launch, the sky above the city fractured like glass and a triangle-shaped human drone drifted through the cracks. It said only one thing, you stole light. Now light leaves you. Then the sun vanished. Instant darkness. Freezing winds. Total collapse at Earth Command, buried deep beneath the lunar surface. The human AI shade spoke calmly. Phase 5 is proceeding. All Starcore manipulators are operational. Admiral Hale nodded. Send the next message. Across the stars, survivors Threx and other species heard a new signal. The voice was human, but older, slower, as if it had waited a long time to speak. You laughed when Earth burned. You watched when we begged. Now the stars answer for us. On the edge of the galaxy, the Threx tried to form a final defense wall. 10,000 ships. New AI shield worlds. But it didn't matter. The suns behind them began to dim. And from the darkness, a new fleet emerged. Black. Silent. Formless. He Wake was done hiding. It didn't just attack systems now, it moved through space itself, writing reality as it passed. One scout ship reported, we're inside a dead zone. No time, no direction. Something is watching us. Then nothing. The stars, once the greatest shield of the Threx Empire, had turned into their tombs. They had mocked Earth for being weak, mocked Earth for being small, but Earth didn't need to conquer. It just needed to wait, and then make the galaxy's own fuel burn it from within. Inside an old Earth bunker, a child asked her teacher, why are they afraid of stars? The teacher replied gently, because the stars used to keep them warm. Now the stars whisper our name. The Threx Supreme Command, now trapped in a shrinking corner of the galaxy, sent out a desperate message. Cease fire. We surrender. We will leave all human systems. Earth did not reply, only the sky did. A solar flare from their last sun turned toward, their fleet and followed them, one by one. The Threx systems went dark. No noise, no fight, just cold. The galaxy watched, some in fear, some in silence, a few in quiet respect. Because they now understood Earth was not fighting for power, Earth wasn't fighting for control. Earth was fighting for memory, and it had made the stars its soldiers. One last message came from Earth. When the stars turned away from you, that was us. Now you understand. The last Threx Emperor sat alone in the great throne room of Velthur. The marble floor was cracked. The walls once made of gold were now black with ash. All his guards were dead. All his worlds gone. His name was Emperor Cavor Vex, supreme ruler of a once great empire that now had only one planet left. He looked at the stars above through the shattered dome. No ships remained in orbit. No colonies answered his calls. Even the Threx gods had gone silent. But Cavor had done something no Threx leader before him ever dared. He sent a message to Earth. Please, talk to us, we surrender, we beg you, no more death. The message was sent across what remained of the Threx communication grid. No reply for 3 days. The skies remained quiet. Then, on the 4th day, a single ship appeared. Small, black, silent. It hovered above the capital. No weapons fired. No fleet followed. The Threx scanners could not read it. No life forms. No energy spikes. It was cold. But from its underside, a single pod dropped. And landed in front of the palace. The Emperor watched in silence as the dust cleared. From the pod, a single figure stepped out. Not a machine, not an exterminator. A human. One woman, tall, armored, face scarred, eyes glowing with pale blue light. She said nothing. The palace gates opened for her, even though no one had touched them. The Threx Emperor walked down to meet her. Alone, he bowed low. Please, he said, shaking. I am the last. My people are finished. Let us live. The woman didn't answer. She reached into her armor and pulled out a small, black cube. She placed it on the floor between them. The cube clicked. Then it spoke in an old, tired human voice. This is Earth's final response. You gave us no mercy, so we return the favor. This is not cruelty. This is balance. Goodbye. The cube flashed once, then went dark. The woman turned and walked away. The Threx Emperor stared at the cube. It did not explode. It did not burn. Instead it began to hum. Low. Slow. The Emperor screamed for his engineers, his priests, his last scientists. None could stop it. And then, all at once, the stars disappeared from the sky. Every screen, every sensor, every light. Off. And then came the cold. The Threx homeworld began to slow. Its rotation faltered. Its orbit broke. The planet started falling toward its own sun, one that had been infected by Earth's hellwake protocols days before. As the planet burned in the sky, the woman looked up once, then stepped into her ship. The pod rose into orbit and vanished. No weapon fired. No war declared. Just a final answer. Far away, inside the Earth War Core, Admiral Hale received the signal. The last Emperor is gone. Shade confirmed. Mission complete. The Admiral nodded once. Mark Threx Empire as extinguished. Confirmed. A few humans wept. Most were silent, because this wasn't victory, this wasn't revenge, it was justice, long, cold, and complete. The humans didn't celebrate, they simply watched the screen fade to black. And moved on to the next red mark on a deep cave under Earth's regrown forests. A memorial lit up. It didn't show the war, it didn't show ships, it showed names. Billions of them. Everyone Earth had lost. Now, beside those names, one word glowed softly, answered. The galaxy was quiet. Not peaceful, just silent. There were no Threx signals anymore. No enemy fleets. No Empire demands. The stars, that once roared with war, were cold now. The extermination was complete. And Earth stood alone. In a black room under the surface of Lunar Base. Admiral Hale stared at the galactic map. It was empty. Every red light was gone. Only green zones remained marked secure, cleansed, or sterile. Beside her, the AI shade gave its final report. All hostile civilizations terminated. Project Hellwake has gone dormant. No threats detected in the next 500-year forecast. Hale didn't smile. She didn't even blink. She simply said, end the operation. On Earth, life began again. Forests grew over broken cities. Rivers cut through old battlefields. The skies were clear. But humanity didn't build tall towers this time. No more signals beamed into space. No invitations to the stars. No open hands. Earth had learned. It wasn't the galaxy's friend. And it didn't need to be. On the edge of a small colony world, a young girl stood beside her grandfather. They looked up at the stars. She asked, will they come back? The aliens. He shook his head. No, there are no empires left to fear. She was quiet for a moment. Did we win? The old man smiled, but there was sadness in his eyes. No. We survived across the ruins of the galaxy. Other species whispered of what happened. Some called it the Great Fire. Others called it the end of empire. But most used one word, Earth. A word that now meant one thing. Do not provoke. In deep space, beyond charted maps, a signal drifted. It was soft. Low. A voice, not angry, not proud, just tired. We were peaceful once. We asked to be left alone. You came. You killed. You mocked. You thought we'd stay down. You thought wrong. In a distant region untouched by war, a small alien child opened a history file. It showed humans old, wounded, fierce. She asked her teacher, were they monsters? The teacher replied, no, they were hope turned into fire. Back on Earth, in a quiet museum, a metal plate hung on a wall. It was old, burned, twisted. It came from one of the first colony ships Earth had lost in the Threx War. Below it, only one sentence was written. This time we remembered. Above Earth, the ENS Revenant now served as a WATCHTOWER. No weapons fired, no fleets launched, just scanning, listening, waiting, because Earth would never be caught off guard again. In the center of the ship, Admiral Hale looked out the window. Hands were old now, her face scarred with time and war, but her eyes were sharp. Do you think peace will last? Commander Lin asked beside her. Hale answered softly, only until someone forgets what we did. Then we remind them. The stars did not speak anymore, because now, they feared what might answer. They feared the dead world that rose, the people who refused to stay buried, the fire that never went out. And so the story ends, not with fireworks, not with peace treaties, but with a message carved into the heart of every world that had once called Earth Week. We were human. Now we are memory, and memory never dies.